Hey guys, welcome back. BDC Gar here, and we're back with another multiplayer team online. And instead of waiting until we can find time to do it together, I'm going solo again today. And the highlight of this team is going to be Metahuman Flash. And typically, the hardest decision is how to best take advantage of Metahuman Flash's passes. So let's take a look at the opponents that we're facing, though. Harley Quinn is a revive with her fourth wheel gears. We also don't want to trigger her passive by tagging a teammate if we can help it. So we'll just see how long we can keep Metahuman Flash's combo going. And it's actually pretty good. So maybe we'll just do it for a while, see what happens. And because Arkham Knight Batgirl doesn't have any gear, we don't really care much if she tags in to save her teammates. Right, so we can see her that she stuns us on tagging in, but she does hardly any damage because doesn't have any gears. Never mind having the right gears. Nice passive. Alright, so the hardest decision typically when you're working with Metahuman Flash is, well, let's review his passive first. It's upon special attack or super move activation, basic attacks temporarily triple in speed with a chance to be unblockable and do critical damage. So you can either gear him for basics, so that when his passive triggers, he does more damage, or you can gear him for power, so that his passive will trigger more often. And in this team, we're doing neither. Just to comment about these opponents, Wally West is probably going to dodge specials, but he doesn't always. And we'll see how that turns out if we just do our regular strategy of charging our team up with one woman. Yeah, and there you go. Doesn't even bother dodging. So if you gear Metahuman Flash power, you can trigger his passive more often. But the more teams we've actually played with New 52 Wonder Woman, the more I think that she's probably the single best character. Not because she's so good in and of herself, but because she unlocks a potential for so many other characters by giving power when she does specials without those other characters needing to take up slots with their gear slots with power generating gears. So New 52 Wonder Woman is geared with our usual Tantu Totem and Master's Death Cart loadout to get 2 bars of power on tag in, with Ibis Stick for power generation and special boost so that she can still get there against a power dampening team and do a bunch of extra damage on special too. She can't be in the first slot if we want her to take advantage of the power. And so Shazam is a pain with the Astro Harness in general, but he's actually pretty good if you have New 52 Wonder Woman. So facing Astro Harness on tag in, I used to do a special 2 and then a special 1 during the first invulnerability, mainly because you can't accidentally do a special 2 before your second bar of power comes, and the danger of doing special 1 is you might time it too early. But the advantage of only a single hit on special 1 versus multiple on special 2, it takes away the opponent's chance to generate a lot more power if they choose not to block while invulnerable. And what makes this one a little bit easier too is Killer Frost is on the team. She's normally Pain with power dampening, and she's also got a revive with fourth wheel gear set, but that means that we don't bother waiting for the full second bar of power, and we don't have to worry about timing it wrong. And Batgirl, you see, ruiz, I mean, unless we forget to block her, she's stunned on tag in, she's not a problem. And since we, oh yeah, there we go. So this was a perfect chance to demonstrate the Claw of Horus' shattering ability. We were able to get the second special 1 at the right time. You can't be too early before the skulls come or too late after the skulls are finished. And so not only did we get rid of Shazam's Astro Harness, we got rid of at least 2 pieces of Killer Frost's fourth world gear set to get rid of her revive. Alright, so Killing Joke Joker is in the first slot, which is exactly the reason we have Astro Harness on someone. So even if Aquaman only eats 1 super, so Killing Joke Joker gets knocked out, gives his other teammates 3 bars of power each. Aquaman comes in, he's got the first invulnerability, reason why we don't have him in first slot, so we can control it. And that means we can get rid of Killing Joke Joker quicker instead of waiting for him to tag out and then letting his teammates generate power anyways while they're on the bench. And the great thing is, this Killing Joke Joker isn't geared to do very much damage while he's fighting, and even if we weren't able to juggle him like this and do repeated combos, we'd still be alright. The other thing too is that Shazam's super doesn't do a lot of damage, but his passive, and he doesn't even do a super, and it's a passive that's a problem, right? So if he gets a lot of free specials. So we used Flash until Joker's health was low enough, tagged an Aquaman to finish while he still has his vulnerability, or tag him right after Metahuman Flashes finishes off the Joker. Yeah, we can't really go with the strategy of tagging in New 52 Wonder Woman right at the beginning, because she'll finish the Joker too quickly, and after her tagging, there isn't enough on the cooldown period so we can tag Aquaman in to eat the first super. And we were lucky this game because nobody did a super, but you can't always count on that, right? So Injustice 2 Aquaman is Astro Harness, Quake Engine, and Necron Scythe. So if he's going to be last resort, which often he can be, the Scythe works really great. And who's first slot? All right, so Shazam's interesting. He's going to be a pain if he tags in first and we knock him down to low enough health to trigger his no KO passive. And he's going to be disabling some gear because he's going to have the Bar of Power and Claw of Horus. So the point I want to mention is that on this team, it seems like there's lots of people using 2 or 3 pieces of LexCorp gear, and part of me wonders if that's really specifically to counter Batman, Ninja, Catwoman. Maybe they'd be doing it anyways, but it doesn't seem likely. There's not a lot of benefit actually to most of those legendary gear sets from Survivor. And yep, unfortunately, there's this no KO passive. He's going to tag out, and when he tags back in, he's going to be invulnerable for a while. Superman's not really an issue, and actually, I think in this opponent loadout, they would have been more dangerous if they'd swapped the gears on Batman and Superman. So now we just got to wait out Shazam. So as I was mentioning about Aquaman, I think. So Astro Harness is great. I mean, basically Aquaman is taking the role of a tank with just the Astro Harness. He's a good meat shield for any opponent tagging in with 2 or even 3 bars of power. And that's also why he's not in first slot, because we can control when we get his invulnerability. And fight number 6. Okay, so I love facing the Mother Box in first slot, because if it triggers, the special whiffs, and Tentu Totem means it doesn't hurt, and New 52 Wonder Woman means not only does it not hurt, it's actually a good way of potentially charging up the rest of the team, because I get the power back, and all of a sudden I've got Metahuman Flash ready with two bars of power to do something. All right. Before we finish with Injustice 2 Aquaman, so we mentioned Astro Harness, and he's also got Quake Engine. It takes advantage of his special 1 damage over time, which, again, if you're playing on a team with New 52 Wonder Woman, it makes a lot of sense. Oh, that was perfect. We were able to break all that gear. Unfortunately, Batman wasn't hardy enough to take advantage of it, or for us to take advantage of it. So she's just giving everybody power. It makes it viable to have a team where maybe not everybody's a specialist, but everybody gets the benefit of having a lot of specials. So the star, partly because I don't think we've done any teams with him before. Oh, and this is even better. Remember what I said about Mother Box in first slot? Astro Harness is even better. I love to see it because not only, it's not just that there's a chance to power up team, you can definitely power up the team. Now the danger is on Arkham Origins Batman, because he's got bars of power. Sometimes, like right there, he can use a special, and it's not even the damage that I mind so much as it eats up some of the time and the vulnerability, because normally you can generate at least 2.5 bars of power instead of, in this case, 2. And we'll time it right. Perfect. And see the animation, looks like multiple gears that are getting shattered. And even though Arkham Origins Batman did hit me, it only wasted, I think, a half a bar of power that I could have given the team. Yeah, so the one thing to point out is that the strategy that we've got with Metahuman Flash, which I'll get into, works even better when the opponent has a bar of power. So Metahuman Flash is geared with hyperspeed plated suit for the unblockable chance on basics of 30%. Since one swipe does 2 hits even if blocked, and it seems like the unblockable chance is independent for each hit, that would be about more than a 50% chance of unblockable on each attempt at a swipe combo. Claw of Horus and Enchantress seems to be the star. It's an interesting combination. So a number of people have mentioned that you can take advantage of triggering the Enchantress skulls by doing another special while the skulls are coming in and getting multiple attempts at disabling gears, or whatever the ability of a gear is if it's related to specials. And each attempt has 75%, multiple skulls. You're almost guaranteed to wipe out all their gears after just 2 specials. So the most obvious use is to disable the Astro Harness after its first invulnerability, but it's useful for any gear loaded on the opponent, and this team doesn't look like anything special. And I want to point out in the last fight, when the opponent has at least 1 bar of power, the skulls lock out the opponent from being able to do a special. So they have to wait until the skulls are done. Makes you more likely to hit the sweet spot with the next special, not too early, not too late. And if they don't have any power, they're most likely going to be trying to do basics. If they have power, sometimes they pause like they're going to do a special, but they never get the chance. And that one was pretty smooth. Minor speed bump because of the block, so it took more than just Wonder Woman. Oh, and nice one again. Astro Harness first. And since we're not power draining with this team, we don't care about LexCorp gears. And so I've thought that, and I think a lot of people agree, that Batman Ninja Catwoman is overpowered. And she probably is, but it's interesting how good a counter reversing power drain can be. And the point, I guess, is whether it's worth taking up 2 of your 9 slots, specifically to counter Batman Ninja Catwoman, who you may not see that often. I mean, have we had any fights with her now? Sure doesn't seem like it. And so you see how Jessica Cruz is not blocking, right? So doing a single hit special 1 means even though she's not taking damage, she still generates power on the special hits. And this way, instead of multiple hits with special 2, each of which would generate more power for her, it's just the 1. And in justice to Aquaman, I think if Joker comes in, his special poisons. So I know that we're trying to demonstrate how good Flash is, but sometimes I just like to take advantage of his passive and reverse some damage over time. You poison us? Oh, we're gonna poison you. All right. And that's the entire strategy, I think. I mean, it is kind of funny that despite Metahuman Flash having the highest stats, which means that he's the most important factor determining matchmaking and what team we face, and we're neither leaning into his power gen to trigger his passive or basic attack to use his passive. He's really super effective in this team. So Doomsday is going to be in the next fight, I think. Okay, so here's the Astro Harness. This is one of the ideal situations. If Astro Harness fully maxed out, let's see if we can get 3 special 1s while they're invulnerable and still have 2 bars of power. There we go, 2 bars of power. And this means teammates get 2.5 every time. However, if, like this time, the special 1 does enough damage to trigger the next invulnerability, or even, like we saw here, passes it entirely and it gets to the 3rd invulnerability, you can fully max out. Anybody coming in comes in with 3 bars of power. Which is, I should mention actually, this is one of the great ways to finish the Phantom Zone task of 195 specials. And even better, alright, so there we go. Lots of skulls. We can strip him of all his gears. Probably would have helped to see what he had at the beginning, to see what we were taking away from him. But, yeah. And that was a little bit funny. I don't know if you noticed the animation. He was already knocked out by the skulls before Wonder Woman's Special 2 could start, so we're still doing the mini game, and he was already out like a light. Doomsday. Alright, 2 pieces of 4th row gear set. He's got a revive. Unfortunately, Flash won't have 2 bars in time to get rid of them and stop the revive. And Astro Harness on Raven Prime, which people think is a bit of a pain, and it usually is. So we could always try to generate enough power naturally with Metahuman Flash attacking Doomsday just to try to strip his gears, then use Wonder Woman on Raven to charge his power back up. We'll just see how it goes. Because Doomsday is pretty slow. I mean, the classic Doomsday is a great character, but... and the other thing, too, is what you want to make sure is that when Rebirth Raven tags in, there isn't enough... there's still enough left on the special that she doesn't drain our power. Like she would have if that had been New 52. Oh, and there we go. So based on the animation, it looks like we were taking advantage. But it's hard to tell because Rebirth Raven got knocked out so quickly. It looks like we're getting the benefit of Flash's skulls coming in, and each skull was triggering Wonder Woman's Ibis Sticks 10% damage time, because you saw the burning animation, right? But Wonder Woman got to charge up Flash again, so we will try to strip her of her gears. She's got power, so she's unlikely to be able to prevent us from doing it. And normally when Raven has power and you just trigger passive and you're done with the specials, you normally want to tag out right away so her special doesn't knock you out. But because of Enchantress's skulls, she's locked out of her specials until the skulls are done. But we aren't locked out. And now, let's see. Yep, she's used up her passive, triggered the health swap twice. So pretty safe to just bleed her out with Injustice 2 Aquaman, and we don't have any danger of having her health swapped out. So, a little bit of fun with Necron's Scythe at the end. I don't know if you saw that too, where we were draining her power and her health. Yeah, great last man standing. So power dampening from Killer Frost is one of the things that will slow us down, and they've set up a team that does the opposite for them. So because they've animated Harley Quinn and Wonder Woman 600 in an all-girls team, she's going to dampen our power, and she's going to generate power really fast. So maybe what we can do in this fight is start off Flash generating some power while Wonder Woman gets her own off-screen, which isn't affected by the power dampening the same way it would be if she was on screen. So we'll just generate a bunch of power. But see how much power Killer Frost is getting. She's getting close to bar, which normally wouldn't happen if we were doing all the attacks. So we want to get out of there before she feels motivated to use her special. Because unlike Reverse Flash, Metahuman doesn't juggle nearly as well. And he's great for somebody who doesn't have power, but once they've got power, the opponent is much more likely with him than with Reverse Flash to still be able to do a special to interrupt our basic combos. So we'll try to strip animated Harley Quinn of her gears, which I think she had a revive from her 4th row gears. And yeah, there we go. So this is a pretty super effective team. I mean, it's not Flashpoint, nobody's Flashpoint, but I think the first ultimate was about 10 minutes, and we're doing all right. All right, so Arkham Knight Batman. We like to say that if he gets 2 bars, he is less likely to get immunity from crit damage. And if he doesn't get 2 bars, then there's no real risk of bringing Wonder Woman. So it doesn't really affect our strategy of bringing in Wonder Woman right away. However, yeah, see, no crit hits. So this is one of the times where he has crit immunity and he got 2 bars of power, and we still knock him out, but barely, only because we maxed out on our special, getting 200% in both of the mini games. And 3 bars of power for our teammates, but we're probably not going to need them. I mean, it's almost crazy how good this team is and how good it is because of her. Oh, there we go. We get a chance to do a little bit of damage. I mean, can you imagine if there was any other teammate or gear that would give your teammates 3 bars without having to get knocked out? I mean, that's basically Killing Joker's passive, but just better. Because Killing Joker has to sacrifice himself to do that. And then we get to the last fight, and we're almost at 20 minutes now, but it's a decent speed for a multiplayer team, and that's part of the reason why I think New 52 Wonder Woman is just so good. So nothing special about this team. Maybe, stealing a bit of our power because of Batman Ninja Nightwing. But, so what else is there to say about this team? I think that's really it. So Metahuman Flash is great. I think if we tried to play him differently and take advantage of his passive, it wouldn't be nearly as effective, because in this team we don't even really have a basic damage dealer. And I guess a potential problem would be a Blackest Night Flash team, because we've got both in Aquaman and Wonder Woman are geared to do specials. They both do damage over time, and the Blackest Night Flash would take advantage of that. A team of Blackest Night Flash would take advantage of that, and Metahuman Flash is the only one that doesn't do any damage over time. That's interesting, right? He didn't get the skulls for knocking out the previous one. Superman's not affected, and that's it. So really good team. I think Justice League is great. I think the linchpin, despite this being highlighting Metahuman Flash, I think what we're demonstrating is, as good as Flash might be, I mean, really, it could be any of the Flashes. It's New 52 Wonder Woman who really makes it. So, thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll see you next time. Komoda.